The Politics program is brought to you, as always, by patreon.com/JURY. If you are a patron, you will get every single day during the weekday a roundup of headlines that I write myself. You go ahead and get it. All the stuff that basically I would talk about on the show if I did it every day. You get it in your face. That is a patron level at any price. So 50 cents, $1, lowest Patreon will let you. You get that 5 days a week. Meanwhile, everybody at the $3 level gets the 2 extra podcasts on Monday and Friday. It's just the way that I like to treat my pats. So go ahead and check it out. Patreon.com/JURY. But enough of talking about how we support the show. Oh, what do you say we just do the damn thing?
Politics, 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 politics. Politics, yes.
Welcome everybody to the Politics program. My name is Justin Robert Young. I am very, very excited to be with you here today. A lot of stuff going on in the news. Just got back from Dragon Con. This was pretty much the only show that I didn't do live out there. But, maybe next year. Maybe next year we make sure that we go ahead and do it. Got a lot of great feedback from a lot of listeners. So thank you guys for coming up and hanging out. And while we were out there, it wasn't like there was a lack of news that was happening. The DACA decision came down while we were all gathered around those 3 hotels in downtown Atlanta. And much more as well. We're going to talk about all that, the possible solutions, the stuff that's already happening, late-breaking news that Donald Trump has indeed struck a deal with the Democrats. Yes, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer went from a press conference where he was criticizing Donald Trump on DACA to the West Wing so he could be there for this deal. There is one thing that Chuck Schumer loves, and that's headlines about Chuck Schumer. We got the rumors about what Paul Manafort's going to be facing, and CNN dropping its attempt to uncover stuff between Russia and Trump. But we're going to begin with this. We are going to begin with maybe the biggest thing that I'm excited about. I love enemies lists. I love politicians dropping their pretenses that they are these like wholesome, all shucks folks. Like, I'm just a regular person like me, you and you, right? I do like anybody else, I like to, get in my truck and go to a hoedown and have some sweet tea. My grandfather used to teach a square dance class. Shut up, bitch. You went to Exeter? Man, you know that you had, private school your whole life? You had your college admittance essay written by the Sultan of Brunei? All y'all are rich, upper crust lunatics. Stop being fake. Well, my friends across the aisle. Friends across the aisle. Get out of my face, Get out of my face with this nonsense. Friends across the aisle. There ain't no friends across the aisle. You hate these people. Or maybe you like them and you hate the people in your own party. Maybe you're furious. You're like, well, my colleague. Shut up. You know you hate that person. I love enemies lists. I love when people are like just petty. Petty, angry, grudge holding. When they're down and weak, they're just counting everybody by their side. They're just saying, wait. Just wait. Wait until I get a chance to kill all these son of a bitches. Love it. Which is why my new favorite book is going to come out soon. When is my favorite book coming out? I got to look this up. When is my favorite book of all time? In fact, I'm going to buy it here right on the stream. I want everybody to understand exactly how serious I am about this. Here we go. What Happened by Hillary Clinton. Look at that. When is it? Number 6 most sold here. It's on Audible. Oh, I'll just get it on Audible when it comes out. On one credit. Hillary Clinton, in the past, for reasons, this is the description for Hillary Clinton. In the past, for reasons I try to explain, I've often felt I had to be careful in public, like I was on a wire without a net. Now I'm letting my guard down. For the first time, Hillary Rodham Clinton reveals what she was thinking and feeling during the most controversial and unpredictable presidential election in history. Now fear from running, Hillary takes you inside the intense personal experience of becoming the first woman nominated for a president by a major party in an election year marked by rage, sexism, exhilarating highs and frustrating lows, stranger-than-fiction twists, Russian interference, an opponent who broke all the rules. This is her most personal memoir yet. It's coming out 12th of September. So we got a little bit. We got another week or so. This is all, forget all this. Forget what I just read. This should just be, what was Aria's list? This should just be Aria's list, right? This should literally just be, who sent that to me? I think it was Dan Benjamin from the 5x5 network. It should just be Cyril and Payne, Cersei, the Hound, Joffrey. It should just be your enemies list. Like that's basically apparently what it is. All the leaks that are coming out about this book, because it's a book, it hits, certain people first. Reviewers get copies early. We got a couple things. First and foremost, she's done with this Bernie thing. She's just done. She's finished. She's finito with the Bernie thing. She's like, I'm done holding my tongue about this dick. This is from CNN. Hillary Clinton cast Bernie Sanders as an unrealistic overpromiser in her new book, according to excerpts posted by a group of Clinton supporters. She said that his attacks against her during the primary caused lasting damage and paved the way for Donald Trump's crooked Hillary campaign. Yeah, that was it. It was Bernie Sanders who made up everything and totally invented any distrust that people would have about Hillary Clinton. Yeah, this guy that nobody had ever heard of spun such a fantastic yarn that he captured the interest of everybody, so much so that Donald Trump picked up the mantle and ran with it. It's certainly not because she had an image problem going in and she decided to not do anything about it, instead just sort of throwing dirt over it and saying, hey, look at me, I can run for president. No, it's not that. Bernie Sanders did all the damage. Okay. In a book that will be released, we're back to CNN. In a book that will be released September 12th entitled What Happened, she said Sanders had to resort to innuendo and impugning my character because two Democrats agreed on so much. She was too much like the more popular Bernie Sanders. Ninja Steve in the chat says, shots, 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 shots. Everybody! Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden. Donald Trump. All right. Here we go. This is she does actually. I'm gonna give Hill some credit. She says Obama wanted her to grit her teeth, and then compares Bernie Sanders to one of my favorite things. That's the movie Something About Mary, specifically the scene in which Harlan Williams gets into the car hitchhiking, gets into Ben Stiller's car hitchhiking, and is an absolute lunatic. Seven's your key number here. 7 little chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea? But Hillary compares Bernie Sanders to the lunatic hitchhiker, who's also a murderer, when she says that Ben Stiller was like, oh, it's 8-minute abs. He's like, no. I'm going to do 7-minute abs. Ben Stiller says, well, why not 6-minute abs? He's like, no. 7's your key number. That he was just constantly saying one more. Constantly saying one more. And then recites an anti-Bernie meme, which is Bernie promises a pony. Hillary says a pony is unrealistic. How are you going to get approval from Congress for the pony? How will you afford the pony? Bernie Sanders says Hillary hates ponies. Hillary says, but I love ponies. And then the media says, why has Hillary changed her opinion on ponies? Oh, poor Hillary. I'm sorry, the old Hillary Clinton can't come to the phone. Why? Because she's dead. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what. There's a lot of comparisons between Taylor Swift and Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying, specifically in terms of the persecution complex. But she's not done taking shots at people in her own party. No. She also goes balls deep on Joe Biden, on old Uncle Joe. This one's from the Hill. Here we go. Hillary Clinton criticizes former Vice President Joe Biden in her new book for his assessment that Democrats did not focus on the middle class during the presidential race. The Democratic nominee, defeated by President Trump, writes that she found Biden's comments remarkable, given that his own campaigning for her, in which he talked about what she would do for the middle class. Quote from the book. Joe Biden said the Democratic Party in 2016 did not talk about what it always stood for, and that was how to maintain a burgeoning middle class, Clinton says in her new book. I find this fairly remarkable, considering that Joe himself campaigned for me all over the Midwest and talked plenty about the middle class. If you said shit, why didn't you do shit? Clinton was referring to comments made this past May by Biden, in which he criticized the Democratic strategy to win over working class voters. Quote, because of the negative campaign that Trump ran, how much did we hear about the guy making $50,000 on an assembly line, the woman, his wife, making $28,000 as a hostess, Biden said in May. They got $78,000, 2 kids living in a metropolitan area, and they can hardly make it. When was the last time you heard us talk about those people? What do you mean, those people? Also, Hillary Clinton apparently points a finger at President Obama by saying he could have done more to put out a stronger response to Russia's efforts to influence the outcome of the election. So that's just the folks in her own party. Just the people in her own party. I can't wait. I love enemies lists. I want to see how deep she goes. Because I also got a feeling. that I want to see how hard she goes on her own staff. Because let's not forget that Hillary Clinton lost a very close election to Donald Trump. And the reason why she lost the very close election to Donald Trump is because she lost Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Hillary Clinton was not in Michigan. She was in Ohio, but she didn't go to Wisconsin or Michigan because she assumed that they were in the bag. And apparently her staff convinced her that they didn't want to go there because they were afraid that if they went there, that the media would make too big of a deal about it and Trump would realize that they were also seeing that they were becoming weaker in those states. Now, they still thought they were going to win, but they thought they were going to be weaker. Then she lost the election. So I gotta wonder whether or not there is going to be any kind of shots fired inside the building, specifically to campaign manager Robbie Mook. I can't wait. In fact, I'll tell you, if anybody listening to me has an early copy of this, hit a brother up. Hit a brother up. I want to read this immediately. I'm so excited for this. And that will definitely be our next Campaign Chaos book club. We are done. I finished Devil's Bargain today. We'll do a little Devil's Bargain recap in a separate podcast. But I'm super pumped for this. God, reading all these books about the campaign just brings back such fond memories for me. Oh, the ups and downs, the twists, the turns. Such a fond journey. Let's move on, though, to the boring drudgery that is actual governance. So, the DACA decision came down over the weekend. It was officially announced yesterday by Jeff Sessions, by himself. I'm guessing Jeff Sessions is out of the doghouse because, that's a pretty prominent position that he was given. But now the question becomes exactly what is going to what is going to happen. For those of you who are just catching up or for one reason or another only listen to this show, what happened was Trump. That was wish fulfillment for the Hill Dogs. Oh my God, I wanted to do. Hey, that last segment, that was for the Hill Dogs. Hey, hey, hey. What you really want? Hey, hey, hey. Hill Dogs. Hey, 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 hey. Trump made the decision that he was going to no longer enforce the DACA, the Dreamer Act. Effectively, this is what happened. So there are close to 1 million people in America that were brought to America when they were infants, kids. So it's not like they had a choice when their parents brought them illegally to America. If you are illegal in America and you have a kid, then that kid is American. However, if you have the kid in Mexico and you bring them on over, then they are illegal. And these kids grow up to be adults. And so the idea was that, hey, look, this is a weird spot in the immigration law because in general, we are here to enforce laws with people who understand them. It's an implicit understanding that our immigration system is broken, which I've talked about on this show many times. And Obama wanted Congress to make a law carving something out for these roughly million people. Congress didn't. Never really made it past. By the way, this was something that existed beforehand, and it's covered in our notes that we made in my headline roundup today, or that you can find on the New York Times. The history of this, of the Dreamer Act, the Dream Act. It was actually goes back to the Bush administration. Really, I mean, it was Dick Durbin tried to do it. Obama was in favor of it, wanted Congress to do it. Congress couldn't do it. Obama did it by executive order. Now, the element of this that you really do need to pay attention to is that the Dream Act was facing legal peril. It was certainly facing a legal challenge by attorney generals in a few states, among them Texas. So the White House was under pressure to either say, it's okay, let this thing get legally challenged, or to make a call. They attempted to split the baby by doing what they did, which is kick it to Congress, say, hey, look, we are going to give you guys 6 months to try and do something. And if you can't, then it's gone. Then that is our implicit understanding that you guys don't believe in this act if you can't get your crap together. Because theoretically, this should be bipartisan. So how do you carve something out? How do you split the baby if you're Congress? Because this means that the Republican-controlled Congress needs to piss off their base. Their base looks at anything remotely involving giving illegals a pathway to citizenship in America as amnesty. This is a violation. We are a rule of laws, and you are impugning those laws by giving these people amnesty. Sure, they are on the more sympathetic end of people who have subverted the laws. But nonetheless, we got rules. Rules are rules, and if you don't make weight, you can't wrestle. So if you are a Republican, how do you handle this? Well, one way is to make it more comprehensive legislation. You try to say, okay. Beggars can't be choosers, bitch, this ain't Chipotle. We will do both. We will carve out something for the dreamers. And, yes, and we will have money to build the wall. You want your wall? Let the dreamers stay. That's the new strategy. Now, part of the other reason why this was going to be so tough is because, well, besides the, Congress is the gang that can't shoot straight, the debate as of this morning was not even about whether or not they were going to get a Dream Act vote together, but rather whether to do it now or in December. But also because there's a lot of crap on their plate. Republicans want to take another stab at health care. They have the debt ceiling. They have Hurricane Harvey relief. They have tax reform. It's a lot of shit they need to do. Not a lot of time to do it in, considering their speed is glacial and their effectiveness is close to that of a man with butts for hands. So enter into all of this the fact that our president is Donald Trump. And boy, is that man full of surprises. because it was rumored that he was very sympathetic to the Dreamers, is very sympathetic to the Dreamers, and that while he had elements of his advisory, up to and including the Steve Bannon America First contingent, that were saying, listen, this thing's out. You got to get it done. You got voted in based on immigration, and this is a hard decision you got to make. Then you had other elements that were like, look, if you want to do all this other stuff, picking a fight with the Dreamers is the least of it. And, you know, the idea with the Dreamers is that they did have to come forth based on Obama's executive action. They had to say, hey, I'm illegal, but I'm illegal under these certain circumstances. That's a fairly large amount of trust for an illegal immigrant. I don't know how many illegal immigrants y'all know, but they don't like, they don't like clubs with off-duty cops. They want to stay away from any kind of official authority. So to come out and say, yo, I'm illegal, that's a lot of trust. That is a deal we made with those people. We made an agreement with those people. And that's not even like a regular entitlement. It's not even like healthcare or anything like that, where that's just something that we offer citizens. You know, well, we're already locked in. Unless you do something horrifying, you're not going to lose your citizenship. These people are risking going to jail if their paperwork's not right. So Donald Trump's sympathetic to that. A lot of Dreamers work at major companies. In fact, Microsoft came out yesterday and said, hey, look, if they come for you, they come for us. So what does Donald Trump do? Well, the same thing he always does, Pinky. Go to Twitter. What does he write on the Twitter? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because it was very, very confusing, as per usual. Here we are. Donald Trump writes, Congress now has 6 months to legalize DACA, something the Obama administration was unable to do. And if they can't, I will revisit the issue. So is he basically saying, listen, do it in 6 months or I'm going to call a backseat? Do it in 6 months or I'll just handle it anyway? I'll write another executive order? Like, what does it mean? I'll revisit it. Meanwhile, Obama took to Facebook. Yep. I don't really have a lot to say about what Obama took to Facebook. It was a very, Obama-y kind of thing. Wrote a little essay. I just wanted to point out one thing that made me happy. Obama did the bit. Obama, played the hits. You don't go to a concert if you're not going to have your favorite song played. So for Obama fans, he did the Let's Be Clear. Look at that. Let's be clear. He wrote it. He wrote it out. He can't help himself. He always did the let's be clear. Let's be clear. So I was just excited to hear that. Just, come on. That's his hit. That's his hit. He loves doing the let's be clear. All right. We can move on. How about this one? I mean, well, here, let me go this way. Do I think that DACA will be reinstated? Because there's enough Republicans that want to do it. There's enough Democrats that want to do it. It's a matter of how they do it. They have an excuse. A lot of them are military, so it's easier to sell the DACA thing than it is others. But ultimately, this is only going to change when we get comprehensive immigration reform. So, this is just a Band-Aid. The solution was a Band-Aid. Now we're going to put a Band-Aid on the solution. or make the Band-Aid permanent, whichever way you want to look at it. All right. We have Paul Manafort facing some serious political charges, according to some senator. This is from The Hill. I'm just kidding. It's Senator Richard Blumenthal. Here's that story. Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut said Paul Manafort is likely facing serious criminal charges in the investigation into possible ties between President Trump's campaign and Russia's effort to influence the outcome of the election, according to the Washington Post. Blumenthal and Manafort, Trump's former campaign manager, said Manafort has been resistant to the probe and suggested that he is nervous about charges that he might be facing. Blumenthal added that Manafort was more resistant than Donald Trump. Manafort probably is comfortable confronting some fairly serious criminal charges. Manafort has been resistant, to be very blunt. This is after Manafort has spoken to the Senate Intelligence Committee about the election, but the Senate Judiciary Committee has not been able to schedule him to testify. Now, this comes after, as we mentioned on this show before, Paul Manafort. It seems like there is a coordinated public effort from the special investigator, to shake loose Manafort. A lot of talk about, doubling up with the state's attorney in New York, because then he will have to certainly face any charges because he can't be pardoned on a federal level for a state crime. He's also he has man, I just blanked out. Yeah, he's also just been the most out there. He seems like he's the guy that's going to have the most financial ties, certainly, to Russia. He's worked for candidates that have been backed by Russia before. And it would not shock me, again, if he faces some mid to light treasons. All right, here's me making fun of TV reporters. This is a Daily Caller story. Jack Crow wrote this one. CNN executives explicitly told their investigative team to stop looking into potential ties between Trump and Russia following a series of high-profile reporting errors that led to the resignation of 3 journalists in June. Executive transferred all reporting duties associated with the Trump-Russia narrative to CNN's Washington, D.C. team. In the wake of a retracted June report, members of the CNN staff told the New York Times. The report in question was removed from CNN's website after the network admitted it could not stand by the information that tied Trump and advisor Anthony Scaramucci to a Russian investment bank under Senate sanctions. CNN's president, Jeffrey A. Zucker, led an investigation into the mishap and found that the story, written by Pulitzer finalist Thomas Frank, was published over the concerns of CNN's legal team. The investigation revealed the key aspect of Frank's reporting were based on one source who expressed trepidation on how the information was being presented before the story went to print, a fact that Frank failed to relay to his colleagues. The reports came after a series of embarrassments for the network, including the firing of host Reza Aslan and Kathy Griffin in response to inappropriate and, in Griffin's case, threatening public messages directed at Donald Trump. The story also came on when CNN issued a correction on the article that inaccurately predicted details of former FBI Director James Comey's congressional testimony. This is what happens when TV guys pretend to be journalists. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm sure they're good people, but, it's a fast turnaround, by and large. You know, you got a real quick time to air from when you finish stuff. Yeah, I'll fire shots at CNN. I don't give a fuck unless you want to hire me. In that case, I'm very, very, very well suited. I would very much like to be a part of your team, CNN. Just go ahead and holler at your boy. Holler at your boy. I can gas bag, man, like the best of them. All right. Now, it has come to my attention that there is something that is a favorite of this show, a favorite of the Politics show, that I need to do a better job at introducing. I need to do a better job every single episode of explaining exactly what this is. So I am going to do my best to do exactly that right now. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you a segment that is very, very well beloved. Please get into the rented limo, because we're taking data beyond the velvet rope and letting loose the carnal pleasure of political surveys. Spritz that Dracar Noir from the bathroom attendant. Break down that $60 into ones and pay attention to the demographic splits, because this is the...
Get on the floor if you got that booty.
Dance, 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 dance. This is a Metro News poll taken from August 11th to August 20th with a 400 sample size of likely voters, a 4.9% margin of error. Coming up first to the stage, they are the Republican of a challenger from West Virginia. Please give a big round of applause to Evan Jenkins with 40%. But now, your headliner. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the right-leaning Democratic incumbent with 50%. Please make it rain for Joe Manchin. Oh, there we go. 10-point spread for Joe Manchin in his pursuit to keep his Senate seat in West Virginia. Joe Manchin is an interesting person because he is somebody that theoretically in very, very divisive times when the Republicans are having bills fail by one vote in the Senate is someone that probably could be persuaded on certain issues to come over to the Republican side. He has done a good job at straddling the line, as Stoic Squirrel points out, in an era where that's very, very hard to do. So yeah, this is the first time listening to the show. The poll dance is me reading polls like a strip club DJ. I like doing it. But your emails is a segment that I like to do every single week. You go ahead and send me an email to theyoungamerican at gmail.com, and I will read them right here on the show. Mark writes, first, Bargain with the Devil was phenomenal. Had no idea that Chris Christie was such a sweaty tool or that Steve Bannon was so smart. Helped me make sense of the factors that made Trump our 45th president. Thank you for the recommendation. Second, in your view, what conditions need to be met to see... All right, I'll play... He prefers the Kanye version. So, what conditions need to be met to see... In 2018... P.S. I love the Kanye sound clip you play whenever you're discussing the wave. So here we go. One more time just for you, Mark. Just the wave. What conditions need to be met? Number one, in general, it always helps if the economy's not good. So if you are the opposition party and the economy's not good, then you are going to be in a better position. Number two, you theoretically should have good fundraising because opposition parties can raise money better than parties in power. And number three, history. In general, America does not like one party to control the House, the Senate, and the White House. So they like to flip at least one of them in general. Midterm elections are also better for opposition parties to vote. They are lower turnout elections, so the side that has the more passion tends to overpower the side that already has done it. Think about it like who's more passionate, somebody who's about to eat or somebody that just ate 5 seconds ago? Combine that with the fact that Republicans probably aren't in love with their Senate and their House right now. So we will see where it goes. But in general, the biggest thing that I could say that would change is, that's realistic, is the economy tanking a little bit. Because I don't see the DNC getting their shit together, and history is history. So you're not going to see much change there. Mike Y. I love the show. I only picked it up a few months ago, but I've been really enjoying your perspective on the current political world. What song is your theme based on? It's got a really cool beat, and I'm trying to find it online. I believe that one is Tropkillas or Valesco, but it was a royalty-free song that I found on YouTube, and then I added personally the Mel Brooks. I don't know, for those of you who don't know, this is Mel Brooks here at the beginning. Politics. That is from History of the World, Part 1. So if you are a Mel Brooks fan and you remember the scene in History of the World, Part 1, when he is the stand-up philosopher, he is in front of Caesar, and he winds up doing fat jokes, gets himself in hot water as Dom DeLuise, playing Caesar, is now personally trying to, personally is taking offense to the fat jokes. So his managers, get off fat. And so he, says that he's going to switch to politics, which then gets him in even more trouble as he insists that all politicians are bribe-happy idiots. I love Mel Brooks, grew up on Mel Brooks, and I wanted to put him in the theme song because his political ideology, I think, really informed mine. And the melding of comedy and politics is something that I've always taken to heart. And specifically the idea that there is a lot of comedy and tragedy, which has always permeated his work. And I love that. And that's why I love stuff like this. Brian says, if you asked if there was a place to discuss things would be welcome. I think it might. You can make an invite-only subreddit that might be good, maybe as a patron bonus or something. I think that would be better than the Discord, which could be hard to keep track of the conversation. On a related note, something I might ask in such a place would be this question, which you can read on the show if you want. Are there any good conservative podcasts or programs that make good arguments for conservative views? I'd be interested in trying to understand the opposing side. I don't know. I don't know if I listen to a ton of conservative podcasts. I'm sure there are a bunch. But in general, partisan podcasts kind of aren't my bag. I don't really dig. I can better handle partisan reading than I can handle partisan politics. And I'll get into this when we read the Devil's Bargain, or we do the Devil's Bargain recap. But the epilogue really turned me off, because I think the book was really good. It was well reported. And then at the end, the author just kind of turns into political analyst. And I don't think that's, I don't like it when you show your partisan underbelly. It's a reason why I try to do analysis on this show less as a who's right and who's wrong, and more as a more as an exploration. My goal here, again, this is what I've always said, is I want you guys to know, because this is what I want for myself. I want to know more. I don't want to proselytize. Which, as I found out in reading Devil's Bargain, is the exact opposite of what Breitbart does. And it's the opposite of what the Young Turks does. It's what the opposite of what so much of our media now is about: narratives, villains, heroes, stories, goals. And you need people to fill all those. You need things to fill all of those. And so immigration, that's the narrative, right? Who's the villain? Anyone who wants amnesty. Who's the hero? Anyone who wants law and order. Boom. Now, every day, you've got something to report on. Paul Ryan has a fence around his house. Why doesn't he want a wall on the border? Fuck Paul Ryan. Now he's a villain. That dude wants amnesty. Little Marco Rubio, Gang of Eight want amnesty. Villains. Donald Trump, build a wall. And DACA, hero. Who wins and who loses? Us, them, everyone, forever. As long as we know what the stakes are, where they go, nobody knows. What I want to do is try to explain those things, because I want it explained. That's my goal. And you guys can come along with me. Because truth be told, I like the stories. I just don't think we should be taking them all that seriously. We have a Russian emailer. Oh my God, Hillary Clinton would shit her pantsuit. We have a Russian emailer. Eldon writes, "Hey Justin, longtime follower of yours since the first time you were on TMS. After about the 30th time where one of my friends asked me what's Russia like, I had the idea perhaps, given the current media climate, my perspective could be of use to my favorite South Floridian. I lived in Coral Springs for a while. What up, Broward County? Yeah, 954. So first, I'd like to get it out of the way that anything which comes out of this is purely to give you some show content. I'm not looking for some 15 minutes of fame or to use your work as a soapbox. I want people to know more about a rather impenetrable place, and I respect your devil's advocate, consider all sides approach to politics commentary. About myself, I'm a 23-year-old English teacher in Moscow. I moved here after getting my history degree from the University of Michigan last December. My job has me working with clients, mostly one-on-one or in groups, at companies that provide English lessons for employees. For the most part, these people want a lot of conversational practice, so my job is essentially that of an interviewer. The Russian lifestyle intrigues me, So I've asked old men, young people, wives, female executives, you name it. I've talked about it here. Gay rights, Putin, protests, gender roles, visa scarcity, income inequality are all common conversational topics because I want to leave this country understanding just what these people go through on a daily basis and how it informs their outlook on life. My friend was just here visiting, and he described it as 1/3 exactly what I expected, 1/3 completely not, and 1/3 has to be experienced. I want to help inform people on these thirds with your help. Eldrin, keep on writing. I want to hear about all of this. I want to hear about specifically gay rights and gender roles, to be honest with you. I want to know the Russian culture war. That's what I want to know. So I'm pumped for Eldon to keep writing in. Rush Enders, send in this. Oh man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this one. You crazy for this one, Rush Enders. Here we go. There is a 13-year-old running for Vermont governor. Ethan Sonnenbaum is running for governor of Vermont. I'm so pumped. This is from USA Today. Whether by design or accident, Vermont's founders imposed no age requirement on those who could run for governor for their state. Town officials in Vermont must be legal voters, meaning they have taken the voter's oath and are at least 18 years of age, but no such requirement requires for Vermont's highest office. The constitutional quirk paved the way for Ethan Sonnenbaum, 13, of Bristol, to announce this summer that he's going to be running for governor. Eligible candidates must have simply lived in Vermont for 4 years before the election, which I've tripled and then some, said Sonnenbaum, the 13-year-old. The youngest governor to lead Vermont was F. Kaiser Jr., who was 34. He took office in 1961, according to state records and archives. But Sonnenbaum, who's starting 8th grade this fall at Mount Abraham Union Middle and High School, hopes to beat that record by 20 years. The Democrat follows the news closely, chooses his words deliberately, and has a ready response when asked about such thorny topic as marijuana legalization or racism. For the record, he supports marijuana and says he's running to ensure legal protection for minorities and LGBT. Let's go ahead and hear from young. What's his butt? Young Ethan. Here we go. This is from USA Today. Credit USA Today.
More support than I would have imagined as I was putting my feelers out. I am running to win, but I would very happily settle for sending a message about young people in politics, because for a long time we've seen, and even more so recently, we've seen a lot of apathy from young people when it comes to politics. I think there's this idea that
he's like the kid without teeth in Stranger Things. I love it, man. I'll tell you what. It was asked of us in this email if we would give a willy-nilly endorsement to Mr. Sonnenbaum, and I would like to not only offer our willy-nilly endorsement to Ethan Sonnenbaum, but I would like to invite Ethan Sonnenbaum on this podcast so he can discuss the issues facing the residents of Vermont. Vermont? I'm into it. I'm giving the willy-nilly endorsement. We want to bring him on here. We want to have a conversation with this 13-year-old. That's not illegal, right? I can solicit. That's a wrong word, phrase. I'm going to send an interview request. Okay, there we go. Meanwhile, Leslie on the ground in Corpus Christi writes, I was pissed. She went out to go help out with the Harvey stuff in Corpus Christi, and I edited things a little bit, but we'll pick up with her on the ground. I was pissed off at people for not being prepared or paying attention starting Wednesday, and it baffled that anyone decided to stay. I was able to yell at a few of them on a podcast for staying home, so that was therapeutic. They were extremely lucky that it missed Corpus. There are some fences and sign issues mostly, and I've experienced the eye wall of a Category 1 and waited outside as the eerie calmness of the eye passes. I've witnessed many tornadoes and water spouts. Maybe I'm just more freaked out by the randomness than other people. On that Tuesday before the storm, there were already talks of Harvey becoming at least a Category 1 hurricane. I was ready to prepare and go on Wednesday with my husband, and I figured it would be fine. On Thursday, he'd finally figured out that maybe we should leave, and we evacuated on Thursday night, going on a different scenic route than most in traffic. And just a note, I would have left him there if he didn't want to go. I'm not that stupid. It took some people 6 hours to get from Corpus Christi to San Antonio, and that's normally less than a 2-hour trip. Compare the size of Corpus to the size of Houston, and just imagine the chaos. My local atheist group, Corpus Christi Atheists, is running a fundraiser for supplies and assistance to members affected by the communities that were affected. We have a few people that have lost everything and some communities that need to be rebuilt. What was just a joke on our podcast, Atheist Airwaves, turns into a real reward system of boob pics. People who donate $50 get their choice of boob pics from one of our two hosts, Petey or Heather. 100 get some moobs, Reb, and 200 get a video of one host waxing a name or obscenity, your choice, on another host's chest. Our groups are going to be working with the communities affected Saturday, and there are other atheist groups throughout our state, maybe a few from out of state, who are coming to help. Please help to plug the fundraiser everywhere, or not, that's okay too. Here's the link, bit.ly/CCA Harvey. Again, bit.ly/CCA Harvey. Go ahead and check that out. I can't vouch for where they are donating the money or what they're buying with it, but they wrote in, so I'm plugging it. If you have questions with them, go ahead and take it up. Atheist Airwaves is their podcast, but I thank you, Leslie, for writing in. And if you want to donate, go ahead and check it out, bit.ly/CCA Harvey. I can't vouch for the boobs neither. All right. Let me also take this time to talk about something personal, and that is Irma. As I talk to you right now, Hurricane Irma is a Category 5 with winds up to 185 miles an hour hitting the West Indies and Puerto Rico. It will eventually affect the island of Hispaniola, which includes Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It'll affect Cuba before turning north to hit Florida. I've mentioned here on this show before, and I mentioned in the email earlier that I was raised in South Florida. It is my home. It is my favorite place. I love it. Even though I'm out here in California, I will always consider myself a Floridian. I was there for Andrew. I was there for many, many other tropical storms and hurricanes, and luckily we were blessed to not have to deal with something of the destructive magnitude as Andrew for many years. Certainly Hurricane Wilma did damage, Hurricane Katrina did damage en route to New Orleans, but this is a different beast. This is a Cat 5. This is something that even the National Hurricane Center says that they have never seen before. That is an eye wall. I've been watching hurricanes and hurricane coverage since I was a kid, and I've never seen anything like this before. The models today were more favorable. It moves the northward turn a little further east than it was before. But I just want to say this for anybody who is living in South Florida, anybody that's living in, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, Puerto Rico. Spent a lot of time in my youth in St. Thomas, man. There is no better beach than Magens Bay. Some of the most beautiful time I've ever spent on beaches was in St. John. That is a community that knows how to handle a hurricane, but again, this isn't a normal hurricane. I just want to say this. I know right now the models have it going further east. if you are in a coastal area in Florida and you know who I'm talking about, places that require a bridge to get over, please get to safety, even if it looks like it's going east. Please go somewhere, get a hotel somewhere, even if it's just 20 minutes from your house. If you're in somewhere where emergency personnel can't get to you, then it's not worth it. If you are in Marathon, Key Largo, I'm getting local here, baby. It's hard to evacuate late. It's hard to get out late when there's only one road going out. Get safe now. I know this thing ain't slated to hit until over the weekend, but there is no sense in trying to shave shit by the razor's edge when you don't have to. I spent last night looking up plane fares and sending them to my mom and my friends, and it was kind of half a joke, but kind of wasn't, because this is a once-in-a-generation storm. You know, Harvey did a lot of damage, but Harvey did a lot of damage for different reasons. Harvey did a lot of damage because it parked itself on the coast and just dropped a shit ton of rain. This is not going to park itself on the coast and drop a shit ton of rain. This is going to be a buzzsaw that's going to rip through Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and then Florida if it stays on the track that it's on. Please stay safe. That's it. That's all I got to say. Little personal message to all my Florida people. Email me if you're from Florida. I love it. I love South Florida. Give me a shout if you're from Miami. 305-954. That's what I'm talking about. 513. Is that it? Is that Palm Beach? I love it. I love it. From Stewart. Shout out to Stewart. Shout out to Miami Beach. Shout out to Hialeah. Where you at, Davie? Cooper City. Wilton Manors, where the gays at? Fort Lauderdale. That's what I'm talking about. Stay safe, guys. Please, please, please stay safe. Reminder, you can always email me, 513 Cincinnati. Sorry. Someone, 531 is Palm Beach. My bad. A little dyslexic. Go ahead and email me, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Music has been provided by Valesco and Trop Killers. And you can follow me, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Follow me at Justin R. Young everywhere. Download archived episodes of this show at bonerwars.com. Reminder, folks, some shows talk about politics. Others talk about politics. Still more, they try to talk about politics, but this is the only show that talks about all three. We will see you guys next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.